Welcome to TLC for the Soul podcast, where soul meets spirit. You have entered into sacred space. I'm your host, TAMI Chambers, and I'm here to help you shine. Now let's get going on this podcast journey. Hello, friends. Hello, and welcome. Welcome to the show. I want to invite you in. If you're new, if you're returning, I want to thank you so much for being here. This is the second time I've started to record this show. It's very interesting. So I would say Mercury retrograde is already at play. This is being recorded on April the 5th, the day prior to the Libra, what is it called? Pink rose, whatever, full moon, whatever it is, full moon, the pink full moon. And I'd like you all to get comfy and cozy with me. This is an audio today, so I can wander about or just kind of schlub it over here at my desk because I'm actually not schlubbing it. I could be on camera, but I'm not. Why? I don't know. Anyway, beside the point. Yeah, we had a blizzard last night. It's April the 5th. We had a blizzard. We had over a foot of snow. The winds are what makes it crazy because the winds were like 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and so the snow drifts get really huge. My yard looks crazy. They just came to do my snow removal in my driveway, and they've piled up the snow like Mount Everest. I don't even know. I'm like, I can't even see my mailbox from my window. But that's neither here nor there. We're here to do a transmission, and there's just various energies kind of affecting this time frame whenever you're listening to this, but particularly potent energies of like Mercury retrograde and this Pluto in Aquarius, among other things, kind of muddling and muddying and mumbling. I can't even say this, mumbling, just causing some interesting things to be going on in our daily realities. So before I go too much more into that, I want to get us all in a comfortable, magical, sacred space as I wrap us all in love light and light love, inviting in the guides who overlight this show, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, the Pleiadians. This is a special transmission we're going to do. It's a Bringers of the Light call to action. So I get these, I got this one, this port key came up during a, holy smokes, during a channeling. I was always channeling in my new book, The Secrets of Lighthouse Cove. And I've decided I don't want to read anything from these books until they're actually done. So I asked Spirit if there was another way I could do the transmission for you all. And I actually started channeling in something else. That was a book I started a while back, like way back. And I was like, oh, that would be a good idea for a book. And I made a book cover and everything, and I set it aside and I never came back to it. So we're going to use that one because that one, I think, these types of transmissions and channelings, I read them to you all, but I'll also publish them on my blog, which you can get to at the link in my show notes. I think there's a special link just for the blog, or if you go to the homepage of my website, TLC for the Soul, that's also there in the show. Link is also in the show notes. Then my blog feed is towards the bottom of my Aloha homepage on my website. So I don't know how to silence this thing. I've got somebody that keeps texting me. It keeps showing up everywhere. So this transmission is very interesting, and I kind of stopped doing these for a while because I thought, does anybody really get anything out of these? I'm not sure. I kind of like doing them in a way, and I'm kind of not sure sometimes if they mean anything to anyone else but me. And so there's, like, you have to listen to this with your master senses. And even then, Sometimes it's not that. Sometimes the encoded message is not something that audibly will mean something to you. It's often something that will kick off in your subconscious, or it will like kick off a progression of actions or things that you have to take care of in your auric field. So like it'll be like a DNA activator kind of a transmission. So sometimes, just even though I'm audibly reading you the words, it may not, it's not going to have the same exact meaning, impact, effect, or activation for each person. Each person listening here, each soul, is going to get exactly what you need from this. So it may be that 100% of what's said, you may just be like, oh, I don't understand some of that. Whereas some of that other stuff you don't get may be something for somebody else. Is kind of how these have worked in the past. But whenever I'm asked to share one of these and send this along, obviously it's important information, and so I like to make sure that these transmissions are getting out there. So let me go get this one. Okay, a little sleepy time there. All right, this is our April 2023 transmission. So I probably will do these every month, along with a separate storytelling, because I have looked on my analytics for the podcast. I think I've mentioned this before. And on the podcast, the storytelling episodes are some of the highest listened episodes of the whole entire show, of the whole entire 5 years of this show. The storytelling ones get the most activity. On YouTube, it's a little bit of a different story. It's the light language and the light language for pets. And for all of my light language for pets audience, I am going to be working on a new light language transmission, helping you, those of you who have pets who are have PTSD. And not just PTSD from something that happened in this lifetime. It could be PTSD that's an ancestral lineage kind of a thing that's been passed down through different, not incarnations, but passed down, grandmother, mother, whatever. For pets, it is real, and I do have some things to share about that. And I want to do a transmission because my dog has that going on, and so I want to try to work with her. And so if I have that, then chances are those of you might have that as well. So that's going to be something forthcoming for all of my people and pets. I have a series called People Plus Pets that might be helpful for you guys. So let's get into this port key transmission. So this is something that's going to work just like a light language transmission would work. Within the next 14 days is when you'll be somehow called to action based on what this transmission is saying. You'll be guided to do something, to create something, to go somewhere. It's going to be different for each one of you. But I'm going to read it. If you want to read it yourself, like I said, you can check it out on the blog, and which is accessible in the ways that I've already mentioned. Oh my gosh, I can already tell that my communication style is like getting crazy with this Mercury retrograde. I'm a Gemini sun too, so it kind of has weird impacts on me. All right, just bear with me. All right, April 2023, so I'm going to read it. So let's close our eyes. Just take a deep breath and listen with your master senses, but more than that, just be open to receive whatever the activation is that's meant for you, knowing that even though the channeling may sound like, what is it, what? That the activation could be in the inflection in my voice or just the parts of the story that are meant to work with you in your subconscious field. So this is the purpose, so this is all channeled in, the purpose is to align the chakras and base of the spine to the new Lemurian light, which is something that this channel is all about, is working with Lemurian light codes from our past life Lemurian self, and the light codes that come in through the Lemurian crystals, through the various sacred sites that represent old Lemuria. My PowerPoint is the Hawaiian Islands, but I know there's other Polynesian areas and other areas of the world that represented Lemuria as well, such as the west coast of the United States. So you may resonate with that. And then we're bringing in new Lemurian light codes that are coming into us from various different points, stars, solar light codes, and so forth. So the challenge says you're being asked to be an anchor point for this new light in your current location. As you go about your daily life, feel the aloha. Feel the vibes of the lost continent of Lemuria rising forward and up through your ascension column, and especially through your vertebrae. This transmission is a highly encoded verbal code as well as light language. This story is like, it's not really a little story, but this channeling is from my series Lila of Lemuria. Once in the great place of Lemuria, there was a girl and a boy. They had been given special powers from the Star Mothers so that they could raise the consciousness of those around them. Lila was the divine feminine, and Andar was the divine masculine. Lila and Andar made each other very happy, and they lived a simple life, eating nutrient-dense vegetation and locally caught fish and fowl. Lila had a deep feeling in her heart one day that she would, after her transition, return somehow again in a different form. She felt that her ambience and her aura would be needed again in order to help people recall the halcyon days that they were living in at this time. Andar was the holder and keeper of the ancient codes going back before his time on the earth. He had a special key grid in his heart. The key grid was a portal door, and the portal door could be used to travel back and forth between various dimensions, realities, and spatial locations. Andar had been given a special assignment. He was to find the port key that opened the port door of his heart, and that essentially linked him to all he came to know in his various planes of existence. He had never seen the port key in his waking now moments. He had only ever had the sight of it when he was in a deep meditative state. The port key was activated by his pineal gland and allowed him to move around in this altered consciousness without being detected by artificial intelligence. By doing so, he could infiltrate alien technology and create a bypass mechanism to foil any dark agendas. This port key is the topic of today's transmission. This gift is being offered to all bringers of the light who are called to this encoded message. Take the key and open the heart space. Use this special port key and door to travel where you are individually guided, either in meditation or dream state. Use this loving gift to spread the spirit of love and higher consciousness to whatever realm or place you are guided to go. Can you create this magic on your own? Of course you can. You are able to spread love and higher consciousness as you so desire. However, the holder of the port key from this transmission is also being given special powers to alter any lower consciousness areas of their location in order to raise the etheric bubble of light and higher consciousness on the planet. Think of your soul mission as being a play date with somewhere that needs your attention. This could be a physical location such as a hospital or prison, or something more clandestine as only you are guided to go. The port key always protects you and will guide you to those coordinates where it is most needed. From there, your heart portal and your soul signature will be guided on how to transmute and transfigure the energies of that location. This is the best way to assist in this now, and is the gift of many higher consciousness beings overseeing the light agenda of Gaia in order to raise the consciousness of all beings. This is the end of this transmission. All right. Dang, geez. It's gonna go. Okay, hold on. There's some light language coming through. Okay. Is there anything else? Let's just take a deep breath. I do want to draw a couple of cards from the Runic Tarot, which I have been using for the Divine Masculine. I just want to see if there's any other messages that I see in the cards that have to do with this transmission. When things fall over, I should take note. So my chair that I'm sitting on has a pillow that has two robins on a little branch. And that just kind of fell over, so that could have meaning to someone. So robins signal springtime and new beginnings. You don't usually see two at a time, but this time there's two. Let's get this deck and just see if there's anything else. I do have Archangel Michael here on a card in front of me too. What does he say? Standing on the edge of light. Right, one card came out. Oh, 2 and 3. So one came out. I pulled from the top and pulled from the bottom of the deck. The first card out was the 10 of Wands. And I do want to I don't normally read from guidebooks, but this particular deck we're learning about the Norse mythology. And I do like what the book is saying rather than just me saying, this is the 10 of Wands. And so we have the 10 of Wands, the 9 of Pentacles, and the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is all about doing what you love. But let's just tap in to this 10 of Wands. And I opened right to it, so I should be reading this one. So in this, and I know you can't see, obviously you can't see any cards, so this will help describe too a little bit. Odin is on this card. Odin appears once again. This time he is in his form as the magical creator. When this card first came out, I thought it was the magician card, but it's the 10 of Wands. He holds his staff in one hand, the gnarled bark growing up into a tangle of wood at the top. His belt glows with the power of the horns of Odin's sigil. He stretches the fingers of his other hand out onto the roots of Yggdrasil. Purple energy flows through him and into 9 budding realms. We are bearing witness to the creation of the Norse cosmology. These, and I'll probably butcher the names. For any of you that know Norse mythology, you're probably going to be like, girl, you need to get up on your pronunciations. But we have Asgard, Alfheim, Vanaheim, Niovellir, Midgard, Jotunheimer, Niflheim, Muspelheim, and Hel. Odin's raven companions Hugin and Munin hover nearby, paying attention to what is going on below. And their meaning to this card is to every end there is a beginning. The 10 of Wands is about releasing what you have done out into this world. There is a sense of loss and control when you release it to another's care. But it says, even Odin released his creations and watched them as they grew and changed through the ages. So this is like a completion card, a job well done, releasing, talking all about releasing. I want to see how these fit together. And then we have the 9 of Shields. It's not really Pentacles in this deck, it's Shields. A Viking hunter rests on a chair made from the pelt of a white bear. They seem rather well off and comfortable. Despite being light in armor, their position suggests that they are resting. Their hair is blonde and flows to their chest, and their Vegvisor shield rests near their feet. 8 other shields showing a wide range of other clan sigils have been hung on the wall above the hunter. Various spears, swords, and other weaponry are within arm's reach. A snowy owl perches on the hunter's shoulder, and 2 runes appear on this card, one above the hunter and one below. And we have and Thurs. I don't know the runes that well. But the Nine of Shields is all about showcasing your talents and knowing how well you have done in your life. So this is also one about patting yourself on the back for all your hard work, for everything you've done. There's a polar bear here too. The warrior is so good at what they do that they not only took down a polar bear, but they also trained a white owl as a companion. So this is about skill. So this is like recognizing your skill. We had creational energy here with this 10 of Wands and the creation of the worlds in the Norse mythology. Norse mythology. My God, I can't talk. The ravens and the Knight of Cups. So I think this is, to me, let me just go at the Nine of Cups. I'm going to intuitively interpret these here in just a second, but Cups is horns in this one. It says Knight of Cups, but I think it's a horn. Here. Oh, the wind is so strong. Knight of Horns, which is interesting. The book says Knight of Horns, but the card says Knight of Cups. A Viking ranger sits on a white horse at the edge of the ocean. The horse has metal armor protecting its head and neck. The figure on the horse's back wears green pants and a tunic under leather armor. A long blue cape blows behind them. Their hair has been braided. They raise their drinking horn high into the air. Their gaze is looking at something off in the distance, and 2 whales jump in and out of the water behind them. The Knight of Horns follows their heart. They know their passions when their heart sings and sends them butterflies. When you get these feelings, you are being asked to rush off and chase those ideas. Poetry delights this night. They enjoy romance in all its forms and take life at their own pace. Use the power of the Knight of Horns to guide you into the places you genuinely want to be. Lean into the gifts the gods have given you. Embody a youthful approach to life and enjoy the ride. Yeah, I think these cards are very significant. They are significant, but they very much signify what we just talked about in the channeling with the port key. I feel like this port key is like an etheric key to the heart, a key to what you love to do. As a bringer of the light, you are guided to do soul missions, no matter what they are, even if they're not clandestine or whatever, and so very secretive. Like the channeling said, some of you are doing that in your dream state and in your meditative states. You are going to the other worlds and completing some of these missions that are that were talked about in the channeling. But others, it's more apparent. It's more of a literal message of doing what you love, and I think this Knight of Cups cards really talked about that. And with the 2 whales, there's a lot about whale song. We've talked so much in the past about your soul signature being very important to where you're at now on the planet, helping. Who was it I was listening to? It was talking about the whales. It's Jenny from Moon Magic Tarot, and she was talking about the whales swimming the song lines of the planet, kind of like the Aboriginal elders do with something similar with song lines. And that's what you're doing with your soul signature, is you're riding the waves and of the higher consciousness, which is thus in terms lighting up the like the grids where you're at. My gosh, you guys. And I think with the Odin and the Nine of Pentacles, it's like, you be proud of who you are, what you've come here to do. If you take this port key and do nothing else other than use it in your meditation to help open your heart space to doing what you love, to creating what you love in your own life, then that's what it was meant for. If you use it for some other type of more, if you're more of a grid or gatekeeper or a dragon keeper who understands how to take these channelings and use them to do your work in the astrals, then that's what this transmission was meant for. It's about doing what you love, using your own soul signature and your own soul keys, DNA keys, and activators within your auric field and within your Akashic record to create what needs to be created. And some of you have special missions that you're supposed to take care of, and that's what that's for. And that's very much kind of what's happening in, I'm not going to read from it, but The Secret of Lighthouse Cove, a big theme of this book that I'm writing right now. And it always is kind of, when I write the book, it's always relevant to kind of what's going on right now. But a big kind of theme that I've seen coming out is this thing where Abigail and Dakar and Scratchy and Polly kind of get called into action to do something. And it's like they're in the middle of their day, just going about trying to, have their high vibe life or whatever. And then something happens and they're called into action as a bringer of the light. And they kind of have to stop what they're doing to take care of something. And so I would say the big quote that as a theme from this book is like, once a bringer of the light, always a bringer of the light. Kind of like you can't get away from your light work. No matter how much you might try to distract yourself with something else, somehow you're always called into action, to help take care of things. And it's because of your skill. It's this Nine of Shields. It's because of your specific skills, your specific reason that you came here at this time. That's why you're here. That's why you're here, because of your specific skill set. And that's why, that's just why you're here. That's what you're here for. So you're being asked to lean into this port key a little bit more, sit with it in meditation as you would like a maybe shamanic journey with it or to it or whatever. It may not look like a literal key to some of you. It may have a different meaning, the port key. It may not necessarily be a physical object. You may be taken somewhere and asked to do something. So and they're showing me this, just might stir something in you all. But the past life that I had in Atlantis, I was in charge in the Atlantean libraries. Myself and others were in charge of this portal door that was a door to allow beings from other dimensions and other planes of reality and other astral planes to enter into Gaia. And the way, I'm getting chills, the way that port door was worked was a two-factor authentication. And it was myself, like I had, the port key was not a physical object. It was something that was within my third eye that I could use to unlock the door, but I couldn't unlock the door by myself. Someone else was also there who had their own kind of port key, so to speak. And so it was like like I said, a twin factor. It was like a twin factor authentication, a double authentication, where it's like I had to use my third eye, the other person had to kind of use their third eye, and together the door could then open, and we could allow these beings to transfer and move about back and forth between Atlantis and these other places that they were coming in from. So that's just an example of a port key. And so twins has just come up again twice. Twins came up twice. We had twin robins. We had, I just talked about dual factor authentication and 2 people who could have been twins, but there could be oh my God, this could be a whole other show. There could be another party out there who is, I don't like to use the word twin, so to speak, but there could be, like in this channeling, wow, I didn't expect us to unpack this so much in great detail, but they are giving me different ways to unpack this channeling for you, so this could have special meaning to some of you. But the channeling talked about 2 people, a divine masculine and a divine feminine, having special powers, and they didn't have the same special powers. They had different special powers. One person's port key was something, Lila's was something different than Andar's. I'm going to try to go back to it now. Lila's was her auric field and something about her soul signature that helped people. And Andar was the holder and keeper of older codes and something special within the key grid in his heart. And his key grid in his heart was a portal door itself too. This could go really deep in divine counterparts. If you're a divine counterpart, that whole channeling, whether you're with your divine counterpart or you're seeking your divine counterpart in this lifetime, this channeling could be so that's why they had me looking at monads. When the first time I started to record this, they had me going back. The guides had me going back in my show feed, and they took me back to 3 different monad transmissions I had done. So this port key is a monad transmission, meaning there's multiple unpackings, there's multiple activations and things within it that are going to mean different things to different people. But this whole port key between Lila and Andar is a whole other monad and activation for divine counterparts. So that may mean something to you, and you may want to go back and read the channeling again or listen to the transmission of this again, because there's something there about how divine counterparts find each other in this lifetime. There is a key code activation for calling in your divine counterpart as a part of this monad transmission for that. So divine masculine, if that's you, you're seeking out your divine counterpart, your divine feminine, there is an activation there for you in this port key transmission. And the same thing for the divine feminine, seeking her divine masculine counterpart. There is a special download and activation and instruction set in there for you if you are in that circumstance. Let me see then if there's anything else they want me to talk about. All right, no, they say they are complete. So this was very interesting, as always, when these come through, and I'm very happy to have been able to share this with you. I want to thank you all so much for joining me, and we will see you again soon. Take care. This episode was brought to you by Loveland Tarot Shop, where spirituality seekers pop in to see what's next on their path. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again soon.